We're back, and ladies, it's time to take up your mantle. Are you wondering what that means? Here to explain is founder and owner of the Wild Mantle, Avi Loren Fox. Welcome, Avi. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. How did you get the name Wild Mantle? What's the meaning behind it?
So I remembered the word mantle from a book that I read, The Golden Compass. It's a series, and it appeared in the book. It was describing a character who was taking up his father's mantle. And this word was in the back of my head, remembering what did that really mean? And it means two things. It means a loose-fitted hood or cloak, and it also means your role or responsibility in the world. And I was in the process of, I had this hooded scarf that I had made, and it sort of propelled me into having this small business making them.
And that's what you're doing. You're making these mantles. Yes. And you said that it was your original mantle, but there's something special to your business, right? It's not just, you're not just making mantles. Mm-hmm. You're doing it with a sense of sustainability and giving back. So tell us about that.
Sure. So sustainability is my mantle. My curiosity about the world is how can we figure out how to create our systems to be in harmony with one another and with the planet. And especially when it comes to manufacturing and clothing, there's not a lot of transparency. It's a global process. And you often hear horror stories about factories in other countries and
abusing kids, and all sorts of stories about labor and right. But not only that, it's also the products that you're choosing you're trying to make sure that they have some level of sustainability. So how are you going about that? Because your story is fascinating.
Thank you. So I started working with a woman in Philadelphia, Rachel Ford, who has a sewing education studio called Made Studios. And we've been working on a pilot program to provide fair wage work for refugee women. And I also am working with a B Corporation knitting mill in Colorado, which has to go through a whole assessment to be a B Corporation, which stands for benefit, which means that they have a sustainability mission and that they choose environmentally friendly fabrics, and they also pay fair wages.
And these fabrics, well, I don't know about the original because you said you made it from
sweaters,
left, which is also sustainability.
Right.
We're not throwing things away.
Yes.
We're utilizing them. But the products that you're using that come from other countries too, how do we make sure that there's that level of sustainability?
Sure, and this is a huge equation, and right now I'm just entering into this whole big world and trying to untangle it.
So it's a process.
It's a process, but to start, I created a line. It's the alpaca mantle, and that's one that I'm wearing. It has a hood that you can flip up.
It's pretty.
And the yarn is from Peru, and it's actually from a sustainable alpaca network, which means that the organization actually works with the indigenous alpaca farmers to make sure that they're protecting the land
and the animals.
And it's actually supporting this wonderful culture there, which is really exciting.
Which I think, I really honor that because I think that's so important. Yes. And you have a background in sustainability. This isn't your first time. You actually had another company. I think is that the one with your brother? Or?
So I ran an environmental organization for 3 years called Narberth Greens, and that gave me a second education on creating change in the world and creating measurable change. And then I also had a photography company with my brother, which gave me a wonderful experience of being an entrepreneur and also learning to curate my aesthetic senses, which really prepared me for this.
Which is wonderful. So how is this expanding? Because I see so much expansion, and again, people need this. It's not something frivolous. Yes. So they need the clothes, and it keeps people warm. And again, you're also helping people earn money and protecting the environment and the animals, and so it's a wonderful totality in terms of process and in terms of sustainability.
So my goal for the business, well, I guess I have two goals. One, I want to learn what would be the next cutting edge in sustainability when it comes to clothing manufacturing. And Eileen Fisher is already doing amazing things. I love her, everything like creating clothes with love campaign. So I really want to use this as a platform to get to that point and be able to be creative in how we might be able to push things further.
Do you know how to do that yet, or you're just still in the thinking stage of that?
I have ideas, but I have a lot to learn still. So I'm also looking to partner with a larger company, which I'm beginning to put some feelers out now so that I can really learn the system, because you have to know what you're working with in order to be able to change it, right? And then the other goal I have is self-empowerment, and the whole idea of taking up your mantle really comes from a place of self-empowerment, because you have to have that belief that you not only have the power to create your life through your own thoughts, but you also know what's best for you, that you have an internal guidance system, which is a lot of what you talk about.
Right. So it's having that internal GPS system that
Yes.
we have, and it's not just about clothes, but it's about what you need to be empowered and to feel empowered.
Yes.
And how does the mantle relate to that?
It's interesting because a lot of my customers come back to me and say, you know, I put this on and it feels like a hug. I just feel so courageous, like I'm a warrior, but I'm snuggled at the same time. And so I think intrinsically the garment brings you that feeling.
Why do you think so? Is it because the
it's-
way it's nestled against your
Yeah.
body and the right?
And your head, I mean, it's your core too. You're keeping your core
and
warm.
it's near your heart center
Yes.
too, right?
So it's sort of an act of self-love to wear one. It was for me, because the process of creating them, in doing that, I was taking up my mantle and also finding the deeper call to help others.
I think that love that you're talking about is actually pervasive and in the product. So I think that's why people are saying, how wonderful, and I
Yeah.
feel so empowered and so loved and secure and supported. So I think you do that just by the nature of who you are too.
Thank you.
Oftentimes, I remember working with a company, and they actually, when they were cooking, they would sing and they would do prayers, so that when they served the food, there was the food was delicious and incredible, but there was also this wonderful spiritual
Yes.
aspect to it, which I believe that the mantle has.
Well, we definitely have fun making them.
Fun, love, and sustainability. Wonderful combination.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. Power Your Life will be right back. Ahead, find out what's hot for next week. Before we go, I'd like to leave you with my PowerPoints for the week. Today, we've met incredible men and women who have a real interest in our lives, from wanting to make sure that our lives and businesses are safer and hazard-free, to our guests who know how important it is to give back and to make a difference in the lives of those less fortunate and for people in need of a helping hand. Giving not only helps the receiver, it also helps the one who gives. When we give back, we feel better and we feel needed and appreciated, which goes a long way to raise our self-worth and our self-esteem. Doing for others can improve your immune system and your nervous system. Endorphins are released in your brain, which can make you feel good all over. If you're having a bad day, just giving your time, your love, your energy can change all that. Helping others takes your mind off of your own challenges so that you can see the bigger picture and what's really important, which gives us a new and refreshing perspective on our own lives and on our world. Thanks for being with us today. Next time on Power Your Life, best-selling author Matthew Quick, who wrote the Silver Linings Playbook, will be back with us, and this time to talk about his latest book, Love May Fail. I hope you'll join us.